Hello,
Hi
everyone, and
everyone.
welcome back to our YouTube channel, Sisterly Conversations. So, now we'll be picking a topic. So, the topic goes: how do I feel about becoming an adult versus being a teen? And that question is coming from our mother. So, for me personally, being an adult versus being a teenager has their pros and cons, but I would more rather be a teenager than to be an adult at this point because being an adult it comes with a lot of responsibility, it comes with a lot of decision making, it comes with a lot of making important um, decisions in your life. When I say decision making before, I mean in terms of like house wise, family wise, whatever, but actually making humongous decisions like buying a car, buying a house, picking up a particular apartment, those kind of things is like one of the most difficult things to do, and also um, managing money, right? So, like when you were a teenager, your parents did all of that. They did all the balancing and stuff like that. Because, as a parent or as parents, you have to do a bit of nursing, a bit of accounting, a bit of managing. Is all rounded. So, now I'm maneuvering now into an adult. I mean, my maneuver was a long time ago, but it's a case that you'd rather somebody do it for you than you gotta be doing it yourself. But for a time now like this, a time now like this, we have to make critical decisions. Um, so the pros now about like being an adult is you get to make your own choices. So it's not like a case that you're hearing, oh, this ain't, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, or you ain't doing this and you ain't doing that. Because now, at this point, it's now your decision. It's now you that makes the, um, I don't want to use the word decision. I feel like I repeat that 100 times. But like, you make that call, basically. So for me, being an adult is a blessing, but being a child sometimes is a bigger blessing. But we all have to grow, we have to get old, and we have to make proper decisions and stuff. So, Shanita?
So for me, I feel like when I was growing up, I'm especially coming out to the age of like 16, 17, most people could probably relate to this. I used to be like, I can't wait to be an adult. Because obviously I would be able to make my own decisions. I would do what I want, go where I want, whatever, whatever. Um, I would say that first of all, our childhood was great. I don't really have any complaints about our childhood. We had a great, wonderful childhood. We traveled a lot. We had a lot of fun moments. We did different things. Um, I was involved in a lot of school curriculum activities. I was in the choir. I think Tony did more curriculum activities than I did, but I have my own too. Um, and I don't know. I feel like being a teenager, especially, like, you want to grow up fast, but I have to say that I cherish those moments of being a teenager. Now, looking back then I didn't. Back then I think I just wanted to be adult as fast as possible. Um, but I think I cherish those moments now looking back because, as Tony said, you don't have the responsibility. You don't have a big, huge amount of responsibility. You still have some because as a teenager, I had my own little business that, which was basically selling coconut water, and also I'm thinking what else I did as a teenager. Right. So I had my own little business. We had, different chores or whatever to do. We had ways of making money. We didn't really contribute. Well, I didn't really contribute to the household like that at that age because obviously I didn't have to. But I think also as a teenager I had a lot of independence because even as a teenager too, I left and I came to Canada for a good while. Stayed there for a couple of months. I came back. without my parents and stuff. I stayed at a family friend. So I had some level of independence, which I find some people that are teenage, some parents don't like their teenage children to have that level of independence. Some of them tend to hold them. Or I looking for a specific word, but it ain't coming to me. But they like to keep them close, and they don't like to let them.
Let me give you an let.
Right.
The parents are giving the children a let or whatever.
Right, but in other words, they're not giving them the word ain't coming to me. But the point is,
Leverage?
no. But the point is, um, this gives. I am so grateful to my parents for giving me that opportunity to grow, because as a result of that, I was able then to move um, on my own at a very early age. As I don't know, like as I've mentioned here before, I moved out at 21, I think, and I did not just move out. I migrated to a whole different country, and so at 21 years old, I was living on my own. So basically, and it's because of the experiences I had of leaving home at 16 and 17 and staying for a while. I know I never stayed, even back in my country, I never stayed at nobody's house. My parents would not let me go at nobody's house to oversleep or whatever, but they did allow us to, like, they did allow me, well, I don't know about Tony know that she plays, but.
No, because you're so oversleeping, you might sleep over.
Sorry. Right, I might sleep over. But um, but we did travel a lot from a very young age. We did a lot of traveling, and I also spent a lot of time as a teenager overseas, even by myself and stuff. And then I would come back home and go right back into the regular routine or whatever. Um, so I'm very grateful for those moments as a teenager. I think they helped me to grow, to spread my wings, so to speak. And it taught me a lot of responsibility, a lot of stuff that I needed to learn to survive, especially to survive in a new country. Um, which, by the way, like I've said before, when I moved to Canada at 21, that was not my first time coming to Canada. We always came to Canada as children and teenagers, whatever, going and coming. So we've always been used to Canada. And as I said before, my mother used to live here. Um, in 2001, she was a student, and we moved with her to Canada for about 3 years or so. So we've always had um, a familiarity with Canada. So it wasn't like a foreign place for us. Certain things would have been still foreign, but it wasn't like a total culture shock because we've always been in and out of Canada. So but I would say that I am grateful for those moments because it caused me to be who I am today. It made me who I am today. And I don't have regrets about being an adult. I mean, besides the fact that you kind of have everything on your own, you have to do your own stuff. You have to make your own decisions. You have to learn how to budget your money. You have to learn how to save your money, whatever. You have to learn how to take care of a household or work or just regular adult stuff. I don't have any regrets because every step of my life has benefited me in some way or another because it has made me who I am today. Even the ones that were challenging or even the ones that were like negative, so to speak, I don't really see any as negative because it's always a stepping stone. I remember a pastor once said, every setback is a setup for a comeback. So that's how I look at negative or challenging situations or whatever. I try to look at it as a step up for a comeback. So yeah, so for me, basically, every single moment that have have gone from my teenage life straight into my adulthood life was a blessing for me. It was a teachable moment, and even at my age today, there's so many things that I still see as a teachable moment. Some things I've learned from other people, some things I've learned from my parents, Some things I've learned from Miss Missy over here, and some things I've learned from even YouTube, social media, whatever. Like you're constantly learning. Some things I've learned from school, some things I've learned from partners, some things I've learned from all types of different situations I've learned. So it's always a learning, right? And I'm still learning today. So
Right, and as I was about to say, the day you start learning is basically the day you die because every single day you learn something new. And what I would say too, what I wanted to say with in agreement with my sister, a lot of the times you grow when you're on your own and when your parents are not physically around because it's like when your parents are around they can help you make decisions or whatever, but then when your parents are like away or whatever, don't you have to tell yourself, all right, this is no me against the world at this point. Yes, you have your parents a phone call away, but you get that you have that stance now of making those calls that you have to make that will be critical now to you, right? So honestly, I don't have a regret on being an adult growing up or whatever, because again, you have to learn. But what I would say is that it could be either a rough transition where you have to learn the hard way, or it can be a slightly easy transition when you listen to others and do what you have to do. But definitely you learn from your own mistakes. There are things that would have happened to me now as an adult, and I've learned from my mistakes. And I am still learning from my mistakes because some days you might foil up again. But it's just basically life. When you foil up, you get up. If you're gonna cry like me, if you're gonna just have a quiet moment like my sister, just do that and then go again. Cause life ain't stopping till the day you take your last breath. So
yeah, but for us, like I said, we were fortunate in some ways and stuff, and I won't say in some ways, we were fortunate in all of our life in terms of childhood and adulthood and stuff. We didn't really have a rough childhood or our teenagehood like some people.
not
Like some people,
teenhood.
like how some people have, because some people were not as fortunate. People have grown up with a lot of rough situations.
Yeah.
And as when you talk about transitioning, I find people that have grown up a little rough with a rough childhood or teenage years or whatever have an easier transition into adulthood for the simple fact that they've been doing it already.
Right.
So the struggle for them it comes is natural because they've been dealing with it regardless. But that's what I'm saying. Like some people, have a great childhood, right? And I'm not saying that you can't have a rough childhood and still have your parents like keeping you tight, 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 or that you had a bad childhood or a good childhood, and then your parents, you know, didn't let you go or whatever. I'm saying that in some cases where um, let me see. In some cases where you might have had, whether you had a rough childhood or a good childhood or whatever, and your parents keep you huddled, I think that's the word I'm trying to find, it doesn't allow you to grow.
Right.
Because adulthood comes with challenges on top of challenges on top of challenges. And if you don't know how to maneuver, if you've never had a chance to fall down, if you've never had a chance to know what it means to feel depressed about something, or to feel that you've hit rock bottom about something, rock bottom doesn't always mean not having money or not having. Sometimes you have rock bottom in many different ways. If you're studying, you might hit rock bottom if you feel a lot of subjects, or you feel important subjects, or you might hit rock bottom if you're in a marriage and it falls apart, or you might hit rock, different cases. And if you've been in a situation where you don't know how to spread your wings and be resilient and fight through it, even illness is another hit rock bottom when you're fighting for your life through some horrible illness or something. But these skills that you learn from childhood or your teenage years from your parents or your extended family members or whoever, these things come into play when you become an adult because you tend to remember back then when this happened, I did this to get through it or whatever, or you think about what somebody might have told you or something and you get through it. So I think it's always important to not hold on to your children so tightly. You have to teach them, but they're still gonna make their own decisions regardless, even as a child or a teenager. Obviously, as a child, you have more control. By teenage age, your children will start to rebel or start to like come up with something or the other. In some cases, but I feel like you have to have that type of relationship where you give them some opportunity to make their own decisions because it helps with making your own decisions now as an adult, right? So yeah, that's what I think. But for me personally, I think that I don't regret my teen years and I don't regret being an adult because, like I said, each moment is a teachable moment, and it has made me who I am today, as I said before. So yeah.
Well said. To my sister, I was saying the same exact thing. I had a wonderful childhood, and transitioning into adulthood, it had its challenges. But now, today, in 2025, July 1st,
Happy Canada
Happy
Day.
Canada Day, by the way. But yeah, um, I am proud to be an adult, and I'm proud of the decisions that I would have made, and whatever I would have foiled up in, I didn't let it keep me down. I kept going and was resilient. So, with that being said, please leave us a comment on that, letting us know rather how was it for you transitioning from childhood to adulthood, and let us know. I want to say some of the pros and cons for your life, or whatever. So please like,
share,
and subscribe. Until next time,
bye.
bye.